Well, it was about 25 years ago. I was about 18, 19, or 20 years old. Um, I always thought it was an exciting, fun job to get involved with. Um, People always looked up to the bartender, and people always came to see the bartender. So it was always kind of a fun job, you know, to get involved with. And I had a friend who actually owned a bar, and he gave me my first shot, and I've been doing it for 28 years.
Well, I applied at a restaurant, Marriott. You know, it's a restaurant and a hotel in one. But I didn't have any experience, and as I found out soon, you know, after getting turned down by 6 or 7 places with no experience, I actually had to lie and said I had some experience. You know, I went to bartending school, so I know what I was doing, but I actually had to lie to actually get my first job.
Well, I'd say most of the people who get involved in bartending are people who like to entertain. To me, I get out there, I perform, I'm in front of people, I'm almost on stage all the time.
Some people sometimes don't know when to stop. And you know, as a bartender, it is up to you to actually, unfortunately, patrol and control at that point, because the fact that not only are you liable, you know, your license can be liable for something like this, but you know, naturally, the first thing is you don't want to send a person out on the road totally ossified. I was a professional musician until I was about 25. I went back to school and got my BS, started on my master's in endocrinology, and I was supposed to go on to dental school. And somewhere along the line, my father-in-law said, "Hey, pick up this little joint down here." I was married at the time, and it says absentee ownership. I'll make a couple of $100 a week, and you know, then just dump the place. You know, after you get done with school, and so the rest is actually history. I decided not to dump the place. I just got more and more into it, and I put money into it, and slowly over the years, it just grew. My training as a musician and as a person at nighttime, my past training from beginning in the bar, in the kitchen and everything else, this was just a lifestyle. This has never really been a job. You get up in the mornings, you start doing things, and when you go to sleep, and sometimes you don't, you're finished. That's it, and you just start the cycle all over again. If you don't love it, you're never gonna succeed. Back in the days when I used to do this, you know, this is when dirt was born. It's tiresome. Pulling up to a 10-hour shift. Most normal restaurants and everything you might be working 6 hours or so, somewhere around there. But you'll feel at the end of the night, leg cramps. You'll be jumping out of bed with the Charlie horse at 5 o'clock in the morning, just trying to straighten your leg out. It's mentally exhausting at times, where you finally finish and say, let me just sit back and have a drink myself. Oh, it most definitely affects families. I'd say it's probably very detrimental. You know, say you got a night thing going, you're working 4 nights or 5 nights a week, sure, you're not home for dinner at that point. It's taxing on the relationship. You might be tempted by the little cupcakes around on the other side of the bar, you know, at times too. And I think there's a higher divorce rate, you know, for anybody that works in any kind of a business like this. Would I recommend it to my kids? Yes and no. It's a double-edged sword, you know. That's all I could really say on it. You have to be meant for it.
I worked at a hotel. I started off. Then I worked at a college bar when I was in college, and then I've been working at an outdoor bar on the beach, more of a seafood restaurant, more of a family restaurant. Yeah, it's a little tough at first because at the time I wasn't used to dealing with strangers on the regular. You know, I went to school. You know, I was with my family. I didn't have a lot of experiences to just like get myself out there. So at first, you know, you're dealing with a couple hundred strangers every night, asking them for money, trying to get a tip out of them. When I was only 18, it was a little strange for me. But when I was making that kind of money, especially when I was 18, I didn't care. I'd stay up as late as I needed to, stay as long as I had to. You know, I gave up a lot, but I wanted the money, so I knew what I was doing. But I probably had to give up, I don't know, most every weekend, every Friday. People always weren't ready to count me in for something. You know, if I was always working, they'd, oh, you know, Tony's working again, let's not even bother giving him a call. But, you know, I found other time during the week to hang with my friends. Some nights are better than others, and obviously some shifts are better than others. You know, there was the daytime shift you could have, or it was outside at an outdoor bar at the restaurant, which was, you know, busy, or there was a nighttime shift that everybody wanted that shift at night. So, yeah, some were better than others. So some days you were happy to go to work, you know, be working, other days you didn't want to be there. College bar was crazy, you know, easy drinks, just with plastic cups, just get the drinks out there. Everyone's just trying to get drunk, you know, but you just, you don't get tipped that much. But it was a good time. It was more of, you're just hanging out with everybody, with your friends, you know, they'd all come to the bar. It felt less like a job and more like you're actually at a bar. I could actually drink, they encouraged it. I had to promote, I had to try to get my friends. Most of my friends always came by. It was like, yeah, I'd say more of a lifestyle for sure. It definitely affected school a little bit because I was putting that time into it before. I wasn't really working too much at all. But yeah, there's some days when, hey, I have a test on Friday, you know, I should probably be studying this Thursday night, but no, I had to work instead. So it definitely affected my school. I would definitely want my kids to bartend, especially when they're younger. It really helps you with those interpersonal interactions between people, you know, really get comfortable with strangers, asking people stuff, you know, stuff like that. It's good for, you know, your professional career as well.
Bartending is something you just don't do 9 to 5. It's something you do from, say, 6 o'clock at night till maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. So those are the times usually you would be spending with your family. Some of the advice I'd give to young or new bartenders or people who are interested in getting into bartending, the lure of the money can be very misleading. Initially, especially if you work in a popular place, you can make a lot of money very fast. But what you find is the faster money comes in, the faster you spend it. Would I want my son to get into bartending? I'd have to be honest and say no. I remember one time my father said to me that he was in the military and he said it was the greatest experience of his life. And he said, but I would never want any of my kids to be involved because of the drawbacks. Same thing for me. Even though bartending was good for me and I really enjoyed it, I think I paid a price for bartending for so long, and I wouldn't want my kid to actually pay that same price.